Hello everyone. Today we will discuss about seasoning and flavoring. Okay, let's start. What is seasoning and flavoring? Many ingredients are used to enhance the taste of foods. These ingredients can be used to provide both seasoning and flavoring. What is seasonings? Means to bring out or intensify the natural flavor of the food without changing it. Seasonings are usually added near the end of cooking period. The most common seasonings are salt, pepper, and acids, such as lemon juice. When seasonings are used properly, they cannot be tasted. Their job is to heighten the flavors of the original ingredients. Seasonings, it is the process of adding salts, herbs, or spices to the food to enhance flavor. Flavoring refers to something that changes or modifies the original flavor of the food. Flavoring can be used to contrast a taste, such as adding liquor to a dessert, where both the added flavor and the original flavor are perceptible. Or flavorings can be used to create a unique flavor in which it is difficult to discern what the separate flavorings are. Spice blends used in pumpkin pies are a good example of this. Meaning, flavorings used to give a different, stronger, or more taste to food or drink. Knowing the difference between herbs and spices is not important, as knowing how to use seasonings and flavorings skillfully. In general, fresh and seasonings are added late in the cooking process, while dry ones tend to be added earlier. It is good practice to under-season during the cooking process and then add more seasonings, particularly if you are using fresh ones. Just before presentation, this is sometimes referred to as layering. When baking, it is difficult to add more seasoning at the end. Testing recipes to ensure the process amount of spice is included is a critical process. Umami, a term first used by Asians attempting to identify flavors, is the word umami, often used to describe food that are earthy, meaty, robust, pungent, or savory. The term umami is also used to describe flavors enhanced by naturally occurring substances in food such as glutamate, an amino acids that exists within bonito flakes, cheese, fish, kelp, mushroom, red meat, soy sauce, and tomatoes. Umami is a word commonly used to describe the flavor or taste of foods that are aged or allowed to ferment. Wine and cheese are two food items that may be described with this term when referring to a strong, robust, well-rounded, full-bodied, or meaty flavors. Means umami, a category or taste in food besides sweet, sour, salt, and corresponding to the flavor of glutamates. Next topic is quick guide to every herb and spice. Dried herbs and spices. First is asafoetida. Used as a digestive aid in Indian cooking, asafoetida has a strong odor that mellows out into garlic onion flavor. Meaning asafoetida, strong spice with pungent smell. Next is annatto. Reddish brown paste or powder ground from annatto seeds with an earthy flavor, used primarily in Latin American dishes like mole sauce, cochinita pibil, and tamales. Annatto is an orange-red condiment and food coloring. Next is allspice, similar to cloves but more pungent and deeply flavored, best used in spice mixes. Allspice is the dried brown berry. Next is bay leaf, adds a woody background note to soups and sauces. Meaning bay leaf commonly used in cooking. Caraway seed, these anise-tasting seeds are essential for soda bread, sauerkraut, and potato salad. Caraway seed, highly aromatic and have a distinctive mild anise flavor. Cardamom, this warm aromatic spice is widely used in Indian cuisine. It's also great in baked goods when used in combination with spices like clove and cinnamon. Cardamom is a spice with an intense, slightly sweet flavor. Next is cayenne pepper. Made from dried and ground red chili peppers, add a sweet heat to soups, braises, and spice mixes. Cayenne pepper, it is usually a moderately hot chili pepper used to flavor dishes. Next is chia seeds. These seeds aren't just for growing crazy terracotta sculptures. Nearly flavorless, they can be ground into smoothies, cereals, and baked goods for extra nutrition and texture, or even used as a vegan egg substitute. Chia seeds are not only rich in nutrients, omega-3 fat, but also easy to prepare. Cinnamon, also Vietnamese cassia cinnamon. Found in almost every world cuisine, cinnamon serves double duty as a spice in both sweet and savory dishes. Cinnamon is used mainly as aromatic condiment and flavoring additive. Next is cloves, sweet and warming spice. Used most often in baking but also good with braised meat. Cloves are commonly used as a spice. Coriander seed, earthy lemony flavor, used in a lot of Mexican and Indian dishes. Coriander seed, also known as Chinese parsley. Cumin, smoky and earthy, used in a lot of southwestern US and Mexican cuisine, as well as North African, Middle Eastern, and Indian. Cumin, people usually buy cumin in the form of whole dried seeds. Next, fennel seeds, lightly sweet and licorice flavored. It's excellent with meat dishes or even chewed on its own as a breath freshener and digestion aid. Fennel seed is a flowering plant species in the carrot family. Next is fenugreek. Although this herb smells like maple syrup while cooking, it has a rather bitter burnt sugar flavor, found in a lot of Indian and Middle Eastern dishes. Fenugreek is an annual plant in the family Fabaceae, with leaves consisting of 3 small obovate to oblong leaflets. Next is garlic powder. Garlic powder is made from dehydrated garlic cloves and can be used to give dishes a sweeter, softer garlic flavor. Ginger. Ground ginger is made from dehydrated freshener ginger and has a spicy, zesty bite. Gochugaru. This Korean red pepper spice is hot, sweet, and ever so slightly smoky. Gochugaru Korean peppers or Korean hot peppers, also known as Korean red. Next is grains of paradise. This tastes like a cross between cardamom, citrus, and black pepper. They add a warming note to many North African dishes. Meaning, it's an aromatic spice that looks like peppercorns. Next is kaffir lime leaves. Used to flavor curries and many Thai dishes. Can be sold fresh, dry, or frozen. Kaffir lime leaves, its fruit and leaves are used in Southeast Asian cuisine and its essential oil is used in perfumery. Lumi, also called black lime, this is ground from dried limes, adds a sour kick to many Middle Eastern dishes. Lumi is a lime that has lost its water content, usually after having spent a majority of its drying time in the sun. Next is mace, from the same plant as nutmeg, but taste more subtle and delicate. Great in savory dishes, especially stews and homemade sausage. Mace, it adds a mild nutmeg flavor to soups and sauces. Malab, grown from sour cherry pits. This spice has a nutty and somewhat sour flavor. It's used in a lot of sweets, bread throughout the Middle East. Malab, aromatic spice made from the seeds or a species of cherry Prunus mahaleb. Next, nutmeg, sweet and pungent. Great in baked goods but also adds a warm note to savory dishes. Nutmeg is the seed or ground spice. Next is nutritional yeast, very different from bread yeast. This can be sprinkled into sauces, pastas, and other dishes to add a nutty, cheesy, savory flavor. Meaning it's the same strain of yeast bakers used to leaven bread, except it's been pasteurized to dry. Oregano, robust, somewhat lemony flavor, used in a lot of Mexican and Mediterranean dishes. Oregano, an aromatic plant related to marjoram with leaves that are used fresh dried. Next is paprika. Adds a sweet note and a red color, used in stews and spice blend. There is also a spicy version labeled hot paprika. Paprika is a ground spice made from dried red fruits. Peppercorns come in a variety of colors, black, white, pink, and green being the most popular. These are pungent and pack a mild heat. Peppercorns, usually dried and used as a spice and seasoning. Rosemary is strong and piney, great with eggs, beans, and potatoes such as well as grilled meat. Rosemary is a fragrant evergreen herb native. Next is sage, pine-like flavor with lemonier and eucalyptus notes than rosemary, found in a lot of northern Italian cooking. Smoked paprika adds sweet smokiness to dishes as well as a red color. Star anise is whole star anise can be used to add a sweet licorice flavor to sauces and soup. Sumac, zingi, and lemony. Sumac is a Middle Eastern spice that great in marinades and spice rubs. Turmeric, sometimes used more for its yellow color than its flavor. Turmeric has a mild woodsy flavor, can be used in place of saffron in a pinch or for those of us a budget. Thyme as a pungent woodsy flavor, great as an all-purpose seasoning. Meaning is one of the most commonly used herbs in the world. Vietnamese cassia cinnamon, sweet and spicy, can be used in both sweet baked goods and to add depth savory dishes. Next is fresh herbs. Basil, also Thai basil, highly aromatic with a robust licorice flavor, excellence in pestos as a finishing touch on pasta dishes or stuffed into sandwich. Basil, also called sweet basil, annual herb of the mint family. Next, chervil, delicate anise flavor, great raw in salads or as a finishing garnish. Commonly used to season mild flavor dishes. Chives, delicate onion flavor, great as a garnish. Are herb that related to onion and garlic. Cilantro, from the coriander plant, cilantro leaves and stems have a pungent herbaceous flavor, used in Caribbean, Latin American, and Asian cooking. All parts of the plant are edible, but the fresh leaves are dry and dried seeds part most of traditional cooking. Curry leaves, these pungent leaves are not related to curry powder, but in part a similar flavor. Used in Indian, Malaysian, Sri Lankan, Singaporean, and Pakistani cuisine. Used to flavor curries, soups, stews, and chutneys. Curry leaves, are used to many dishes in the Indian subcontinent. Dill, light and feathery herb with pungent herb flavor. Use it for pickling with fish and over potatoes. Commonly used in soups, salads, pickles. Fenugreek, although this herb smells like maple syrup while cooking, it has a rather bitter, burnt sugar flavor found in a lot of Indian and Middle Eastern dishes. It's an herb that is similar to clover. Lemon thyme, also thyme, sweet lemon aroma and a fresh lemony herb flavor. This is excellent with poultry and in vinaigrettes. Lemon thyme is a small shrub-like herb with tiny leaves. Next is lovage. Tastes like a cross between celery and parsley. Great with seafoods to flavor stock and soups. Lovage leaves being used in herb that the roots as a vegetable and seeds as spice. Marjoram, flora and woodsy. Try it in sauces, vinaigrettes, and marinades. Marjoram, cord-sensitive perennial herbs or an undershrub with sweet spine and citrus flavor. Mint, surprisingly versatile for such an intensely flavored herb. Try it paired with lamb, peas, potatoes, and of course white chocolate with chocolate. Or tender herb and gentle stems. Oregano, robust, somewhat lemony flavor used in a lot of Mexican and Mediterranean dishes. It is a flowering plant in the mint family. Parsley, available in flat leaf, Italian or curly varieties. This very popular herb is light and grassy in flavor. Next is pink pepper, small and sweet. These berries are fantastic when marinated with olives or simply sprinkled or on shot bread. Pink pepper have a delicate, fragrant, sweet and spicy flavor. Next topic is spice blends, rubs, and mixes. Baharat, black pepper, cumin, cinnamon, and cloves, used to flavor soups, tomato sauces, lentils, rice, pilafs, and couscous, and can be rubbed for meats in Middle Eastern, meaning the mixture of finely ground spices is often used to season love, fish, chicken, beef. Bebere, hot peppers, black pepper, fenugreek, ginger, cardamom, coriander, cinnamon, and clove. Other ingredients may include ajwain, cumin, allspice, nutmeg, paprika, onion, or garlic used to flavor slow-cooked stews in Africa. Bebere is a spice mixture whose condiment elements include chili, pepper. Bouquet garni, thyme, parsley, and bay leaf used to flavor broths and soups. Classic friends. Bouquet garni, bundle of herbs usually tied together with string used in soup stock. Chili powder, ground chili, cumin, oregano, cayenne, and lots of optional extras to make this seasoning uniquely yours. Used for chili, stews, beans, grilled meat, and tacos in Mexican or southwestern US. Next is Chinese 5-spice powder. Star anise, Szechuan, peppercorns, fennel, cassia, and clove. Add sweetness and depth to savory dishes, especially beef, duck, and pork in Chinese. Chinese 5-spice powder is a spice mixture of 5 or more spices used predominantly in almost all branches of Chinese cuisine. Curry powder typically includes turmeric, coriander, cumin, fenugreek, and red pepper, but mixes can be varied. Used primarily to quickly flavor curry sauces in India. Next is rosemary, strong and piney. Grate with eggs, bean, and potato sauce, as well as grilled meats. Sage, pine-like flavor with lemonade and eucalyptus notes than rosemary, found in a lot of northern Italian cooking. Summer savory, pepper green flavor similar to thyme, mostly used in roasted meat dishes and stuffing but also goes well with beans. Summer savory, it is used more often than winter savory. It has a slightly more bitter flavor. Shiso, a member of the mint family, this herb is used extensively in Japanese, Korean, and Southeast Asian cooking as a wrap for steaming fish and vegetable, in soups as a general seasoning. Shiso is a bit spicy in flavor with hint of cinnamon. Tarragon is strong anise flavor. Can be eaten raw in salads or used to flavor tomato dishes, chicken, seafood, or eggs. Tarragon is a leafy herb widely used in French cuisine. Thai basil, also basil, is a spicy, edgier cuisine to sweet Italian basil, a must-have for Thai stir fries, Vietnamese pho, spring rolls, and other South Asian dishes. Thai basil is a cultivated Asian variety of sweet basil known for its spicier flavor. Baharat, thyme, also lemon thyme, adds a pungent woodsy flavor great as an all-purpose seasoning. Baharat, black pepper, cumin, cinnamon, and cloves used to flavor soups, tomato sauce, lentils, rice, pilafs, and couscous. Can be a rub for meats in Middle Eastern. Bebere, hot peppers, black pepper, fenugreek, ginger, cardamom, coriander, cinnamon, and cloves. Other ingredients may include ajwain, cumin, allspice, nutmeg, paprika, onion, or garlic, used to flavor slow-cooked stews in African. Bouquet garni, thyme, parsley, and bay leaf used to flavor broths and soups in classic French. Chili powder, ground chilies, cumin, oregano, cayenne, and lots of optional extras to make this seasoning uniquely yours. Used for chili, stew, beans, grilled meat, and tacos in Mexican or southwestern U.S. Chinese 5-spice powder, star anise, Szechuan peppercorns, fennel, cassia, and cloves. Add sweetness and depth to savory dishes, especially beef, duck, and pork in Chinese. Curry powder typically includes turmeric, coriander, cumin, fenugreek, and red pepper, but mixes can be varied. Used primarily to quickly flavor curry sauces in India. Next is dukkha, includes nuts, most often hazelnuts, sesame seeds, coriander, and cumin. Great spice rub for lamb, chicken, and fish in Egyptian. Dukkha mixture of herbs, nuts, and spices. Garam masala typically includes cinnamon, cardamom, cloves, cumin, coriander, nutmeg, and pepper. Sweeter than curry powder, also used to season curry sauce in Indian. Garam masala is deeper in color, sweeter in taste, and spices. Herbs de Provence, usually savory, contains rosemary, marjoram, thyme, and sometimes lavender, used as a marinade or dry rub for roast chicken, fish, and vegetable in French. Herbs de Provence is mixture of dried herbs. Next is Old Bay, celery, salt, mustard, red and black pepper, bay leaves, cloves, allspice, ginger, mace, cardamom, cinnamon, and paprika. Created in the Chesapeake Bay area of Maryland, it is traditionally used for shrimp and crab. Old Bay is a blend herbs and spices. Pickling spice most often includes bay leaf, yellow mustard seeds, black peppercorns, allspice, and coriander, used for pickling vegetable in vinegar. Pickling spice mix of spices. Pumpkin pie spice mix. Cinnamon, nutmeg, ginger, and cloves used for seasoning pumpkin pie but also great in other spice baked goods. Pumpkin pie spice mix, a blend of cinnamon, nutmeg, ginger, and cloves. Next is ras el hanot. Cardamom, clove, cinnamon, paprika, coriander, cumin, mace, nutmeg, peppercorn, and turmeric. Used as a spice rub on meat or a simple condiment in North African Moroccan. Meaning is an essential spice for Moroccan cuisine, but its origin is from North Africa. Next is shichimi togarashi. Also, the ingredients vary. They typically include sansho or Sichuan pepper, dried citrus peel, sesame seeds, poppy seeds, hemp seeds, ginger, garlic, shiso, and nori, used on noodles and grilled meats in Japanese. It's a common Japanese spice mixture containing 7 ingredients. Last is za'atar seasoning blend. Thyme, sumac, and sesame seeds, all-purpose seasonings for many Middle Eastern dishes like grilled meats, grilled vegetable, flatbread, and hummus in Middle Eastern. Meaning is a blend for savory dried herbs like oregano. Next topic is 12 little seasoning tricks to take your cooking to the next level. Number 1. Learn the difference between salt varieties and when to use them. All salts are not created equal. Kosher salt, the most popular variety, has crystals that dissolve quickly. This is a great go-to salt for just about everything. Table salt, on the other hand, is much finer and a little goes a long way. This is best for keeping on the table so people can add it on top of foods. If you're using a table salt in place of kosher when cooking, make sure to use less and taste as you go. Coarse salt, the largest of the three, is best for finishing with. It's not great for baking as the crystals are too large to dissolve. Number 2. And now when to use finely ground pepper versus cracked varieties. How you grind your pepper or how you buy it ground can completely change the flavor it imparts. Finely ground pepper, the kind that looks like dust, is the best use for things like sauces. It's pretty strong and a little goes a long way. Coarse ground pepper, on the other hand, is best for finishing dishes at table with or seasoning proteins. The flavor is usually less sharp and it doesn't infuse into the entire dish. For most things, coarse ground pepper should be your go-to. Number 3. Seasons from high above. For more coverage besides looking cool, there's actually a reason why chefs season their food from so high up. It helps evenly distribute the seasonings and make sure you don't accidentally over-season one area and under-seasons another. This is especially helpful for items like steak that benefit from an even layer of seasoning. 4. Toast your spices to bring out their flavor. Toasting whole spices before grinding them takes their flavor to a whole new level, adding complexity and aroma to a dish. To do so, just place them into a pan over medium, low heat and toss swirling often until fragrant. As soon as you start to smell them, remove them from the pan to make sure they don't burn. 5. Use a coffee grinder to grind whole spices for a stronger flavor. Instead of buying a fancy spice grinder or mortar and pestle, just use a coffee grinder to grind your spices. After using, you can grind up some uncooked with rice to clean out and get rid of the flavor so your coffee doesn't taste like cloves. 6. Remember that cold foods require a bit more seasoning than hot foods. Many people think that you're able to taste hot foods better than cold and therefore have to make up for it by adding extra seasoning to cold dishes. A good example, and one that's often overlooked, is salad. Along with dressing, adding a pinch of salt can help make the flavors shine and your salads taste better. 7. Don't forget to season certain foods with sugar too. Making a good marinara with bad tomatoes is not easy, but if you add a pinch of sugar, the sauce will taste like it was made with perfectly ripe ones. Sugar enhances the flavors of savory foods such as roasted carrots, beef, and tomatoes, and plays an important role in balancing flavors such just like salt. It can help food come to life. 8. Remember to add dry herbs in the beginning of your cooking and fresh at the end. Dried herbs are best used during cooking, either stewed in a sauce, simmered in a stew, or braised with meat. This gives them time to infuse their flavor into a dish and come back to life. Fresh herbs, on the other hand, are usually bursting with flavor and best used without much cooking. Fresh basil, for example, is best used as is, simply tossed in pasta or thrown into a salad. 9. Don't forget to season your food with acid too. Everybody knows that salt plays a crucial role in cooking, but not everyone knows the importance of acid. Acid helps elevate flavors, and just like salt, it's an important part of balancing a dish. If your food tastes flat but you've already salted it, try adding a splash of wine, vinegar, or lemon to amp it up. 10. Pre-season your proteins ahead of time so the salt has time to penetrate and flavor the meat. There are several reasons why you should be seasoning your proteins a few hours in advance. First, it gives the salt enough time to penetrate the meat and season it in the center. The salt also breaks down some of the proteins that can make meat tough, and it actually helps the meat stay moist via reverse osmosis. 11. Swap your cayenne and red pepper flakes for a more flavorful heat sauce. Cayenne and red pepper flakes are the go-to seasoning for adding heat, but they don't add a ton of flavor. Other spices such as Aleppo pepper flakes add a pop of heat while also adding flavor. Unlike cayenne, which is straight heat, Aleppo peppers add a bit of citrusy flavor, so branch out and don't limit yourself to the base. 12. Don't be afraid of using flavors enhancers like nutritional yeast, liquid aminos, and even MSG. Seasonings isn't just about salt and spices. Ingredients such as nutritional yeast can transform the flavor of a dish and add savory notes. Similarly, liquid aminos can add a pop of umami flavor without the sodium content of soy sauce. Even MSG, whatever your opinion on it is, can take a dish form good instantly. Food composition. Food composition data are the basis for almost everything in nutrition. Should receive more attention in agricultural to render out food supply more nutritious. Food composition are detailed sets of information on the nutritionally important components of foods and provide values, energy, and nutrients. Nutrient content in foods can vary significantly because of environment, genetic, and processing influences such as feed, soil, climate, genetic resources, varieties, cultivars, breeds, storage condition, processing, fortification, and market share. Each country has its own consumption pattern, resulting in country-specific foods, recipes, and brand name foods. Commercial foods with the same brand name can vary can have varying composition due to taste or fortification regulation across borders. Food biodiversity highly influences the composition of foods. Nutrients values may vary up to 1,000 times among different varieties of the same food. This means that the nutrient content of food can vary as much among foods as among varieties of the same food. Therefore, each country has specific data needs as they have different composition of their food, even if some people think that foods have similar composition among countries due to globalization. Thanks for listening.